In the back of the book segment tonight, California is now the 10th state to issue driver's licenses to illegal immigrants. California has the nation's largest share of illegal aliens, and the state's Department of Motor Vehicles expects 1.4 million of them to apply for a driver's license over the next 3 years. That'll cost the state about $141 million. Given all the problems with the immigration system in our country, is this really a good move? Joining us now from San Diego, Enrique Morones, Executive Director of Border Angels, and from Sacramento, Mark Meckler, founder of Citizens for Self-Government. Enrique, let's start with you. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias.
Okay, so let me ask you, why, if they're illegal, why should states allow illegals to have a driver's license? Give me a good reason.
Sure. The first thing is there's no such thing as an illegal human being. These are human beings that are undocumented. They're driving to work now. They're dropping their kids off at school. And once again, they're going to have the opportunity to apply to get a driver's license if they pass the test, get insurance, registration. It's a good thing. This is the way it was 20 years ago across the country. I want to know who that guy is driving next to me. I want to know that he's taken the driver's test. It makes sense across the country. California will once again lead the way in having this become a law all across the country.
All right.
And it's good for the security of this country, and these people are going to be driving anyways.
All right, Mark, what about the rule of law? What about the rule of law? Shouldn't they become legal citizens before they have the right? It's a driver's license. It's a right to drive.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's a privilege to drive, and that privilege requires an underlying citizenship, in my opinion. If you can't follow the basic laws whereby somebody's in this country legally, then I don't believe you should get the privilege to get a driver's license in California or any other state for that matter.
Yeah, that's true. I misspoke when I said it right. I meant a privilege. I'm sorry. Enrique, okay, so you're saying that people who come over here illegally should have the privilege to drive. Should they also have the privilege to vote?
No, what they should have the opportunity to is to get in line to come into the country legally. That doesn't exist. They have no way of coming into the country legally.
If you see what I'm saying,
so they should be able to.
How can you distinguish between the two? If you say they should have the right to drive, aren't you basically saying eventually they should have the right to vote?
No, I'm sure you realize that you need to be a citizen to vote. And
well, you're supposed to be a citizen to drive. I mean, you're supposed to be a citizen to do a lot of things in America. Meanwhile, we're allowing a lot more illegals to have some of the fruits of the people who are citizens' labors. We're allowing them to have some of those fruits.
On the contrary, thanks to these undocumented people, we have fruit. We have fruit. We have food on our table. They take care of our kids. They build our homes. Before we were us, we were them. At one time, it was your forefathers and foremothers that the ones living in the shadows, being discriminated against, standing around in corners looking for work,
Enrique,
working the land.
I need to tell you something. I don't want to discriminate. I'm for legal immigration. I'm for increasing our legal immigration. I just want people to do it the right way. I'm very pro-Latin America. I'm very pro-Latino. I would like more Latinos here working legally. That's my point. Mark, talk to us a little bit about it.
I agree with that. And Eric, look, Enrique is misrepresenting American history. This is a wave of undocumented immigrants like none before in American history. My forefathers came over from the Ukraine. They were legal immigrants. My wife's grandparents came over from Ireland. They were legal immigrants. This wave of illegal immigration sanctioned by the federal government is like nothing we've ever seen before in American history. So trying to paint this as just American history and continuity is just false. It's a false narrative, and Enrique is peddling that false narrative.
So, Enrique,
it's not true, because
go ahead.
It's not true. When your forefathers and foremothers came, there was no illegal way to come. People just came. So you really need to learn your history. I know you went to San Diego State and all that, but you need to be better educated on these issues. The last person you want to look at for a source is the Federation of American Immigration.
They had documents. They had my relatives had papers.
People were able to come.
They came through the island. They were legal. They didn't sneak across the border. They were not illegal immigrants. They were the very definition of legal immigrants, as were my wife's grandparents who came over from Ireland. They had the proper paperwork. They processed through the government. They did not sneak across the border.
We want that option today, and it doesn't exist.
All right,
let's expand
this a little bit. Let's expand this a little bit. If illegals should be allowed to drive, should they also have access to Obamacare and health care?
I have no idea what an illegal is, but as a human being, undocumented people do not qualify for the Health Care Reform Act. As you know, the last source you want, you just had a hate group guy on the other day, a few moments ago, Dan Stein. Come on. You're going to use that as your source of information? You need to look at the facts. And both sides of the aisle need to do a better job. We need humane immigration reform. I'm not playing with language. I'm stating it as it is. I'm on the front line.
Enrique's playing with the Enrique's playing with the English language here. If somebody crosses the border illegally, then they are somebody who has immigrated illegally. That means they are an illegal immigrant. We can play with the language all we want, but it doesn't change the fact. And in California, look, we've already got a fundamental problem here. We have about 12% of the nation's population, over 30% of the nation's welfare recipients. The system is falling apart. We have more illegal immigrants, undocumented workers, whatever you want to call them in California than anywhere else in the nation. We are already paying the price for that. Enough is enough.
All right, Enrique, last thought.
Sure. The undocumented community is the backbone of this country. They bring that pioneering spirit to this great country as they have for generations. Let's pass humane immigration reform and move forward. I applaud Jerry Brown and the state of California for being one of the 10 states that allows people to apply for a driver's license whether you're documented or not. Eventually, the whole country will do that once again.